The history of glass can be traced to many different cultures. The earliest recorded use of glass dates to the people of the Stone Age, who made weapons and decorative objects out of obsidian black volcanic glass. Glass making was traced back to the people of the Mesopotamian, 3000 BCE, and the production of glass making has been dated back to the time of Egyptians and possibly the Phoenicians. Stained glass making dates to both the Egyptians and the Romans, and later became an art form in the 4th century by the Christians who built elaborate churches. The production of glass blowing began in the 1st century by the Syrians, which made this type of glass more efficient and produced more quickly. It was later adapted by other cultures, religions, and regions. The composition of the structure of glass is dependent of its chemical structure, which is comprised mostly of pure silica. This pure form of silica, SiO2, fused quartz, 70 to 74%, makes up the weight of modern glass. John Berzelius, 1779 to 1848, discovered SiO2 in 1824 by heating chips of potassium in a silicon container and then carefully washing away the residual byproducts. The ancient Romans used SiO2 in the form of sand to strengthen concrete and the quartz crystals in jewelry. Around the same time, Hindu monks would use silica sand as to draw patterns as part of a religious ritual. The tradition, however, still continues today. The Venetians of Italy perfected the art of glass blowing and used silica in glass making.
Silicon is always used in making electronic devices. For example, transistor cells, solar cells, rectifiers, and parts for computer circuits. Usually, people use extraction as a method for making pure silicon. This picture describes the entire process of extraction. Silicon dioxide as a raw material will be heated with carbon. When temperature rises to 1500 degrees, partial silicon dioxide reacts with carbon and forms carbon monoxide and silicon carbide. When temperature rises to 1800 degrees, resident silicon dioxide reacts with silicon carbide, which is a process known as reduction reaction. The product will be silicon dioxide, and carbon monoxide. The people that extract silicon only need silicon, therefore they have tapped silicon out and decreased the temperature for the devices. Silicon oxide and resident carbon react together when the temperature is 1500 degrees and form silicon carbide and carbon monoxide. Thus, when we stop heating these two forms and the temperature goes back to the previous level, resident silicon oxide combines with oxygen and forms silicon dioxide again, which ensures that theoretically there are going to be no waste of raw material and decreases the cost of production. However, people should notice that carbon monoxide is poisonous and it might become one of the byproducts in the reaction between silicon dioxide and carbon. Typically, an industrial might need to add extra steps which will ensure that carbon monoxide reacts with copper under the condition of high temperatures. The final product will result in copper oxide, which is a material of producing insecticide.
Environmental impacts of industrial surface sand, known as frac sand, mining hydraulic fracturing for oil and natural gas production has dramatically increased the demand for industrial silica sand, known as frac sand. Frac sand is available in great abundances in the upper Midwest. As new sand mines and processing facilities are proposed, the policymakers and citizens of countries with frac sand resources are being asked to evaluate the potential economic benefits and costs of industrial sand mining. According to Heartland Institute researchers, the key issues with which local policymakers and their constituents must contend to the benefits and to the cost of silica sand mining. The benefits of silica sand mining include high-paying opportunities for employment, increasing regional economic activity, generating tax revenues for state and local governments, and improving economic diversity in rural communities that rely heavily on agriculture for household income. The costs of silica sand mining include asserted negative effects on tourism and agriculture, and whether mining might result in boom or bust, economic cycles, and may thus not be a sound foundation for long-term economic prosperity. Thus, industrial sand mining has been a significant driver of economic growth across the upper Midwest. If done in an environmentally responsible manner, it can be an important source of employment and earnings for decades to come.